This is where Draven shines.
Five months ago, 421 North American teams took their first steps into the ShogoLoL circuit. After grueling competition, 135 of those teams battled forward in the gauntlet of division playoffs. From there, 32 of ShogoLoL's finest grappled against one another to bring us here. After months of blood, sweat, and sacrifice, 2 next-generation universities remain, and today we will find out the best of the best, the pride of NA, presented by State Farm. This is the 2022 League of Legends College Championship Finals.
Beginning of the bracket, we talked about new bloods versus blue bloods, and right now we only got new bloods left. We are going to have a new national championship this year.
Yeah, and I want to speak to the series yesterday because even though the score may look a little one-sided, these matches in the semifinals were incredibly close. I thought Converse and Maryville made for a very competitive series.
And Shogo has really been that guy to step in and fill that role immaculately.
I think it's a bit of a storybook ending because we've been talking about these bot laners and these 2v2 bot lane this whole tournament.
Yeah.
From beginning onset, we said everyone pay attention to the bot lane specifically for most of these teams. I think going into this event, Shogo was probably hyped as the best AD carry overall, and then Sophis H would probably be top 2, top 3. So I think it's very storybook that these are the last 2 left.
Based on the points on both these bot laners as well, I know in terms of base state, right, the entire team really just sings Sophis praises. They all love him and they all want him to actually have a lot more chances. I believe his support was quoted in saying that he wants Sophis to like play against the best of the best, so like double lift. Or, you know, in this case, Shogo, which that does work out. And Shogo on this end as well too. His addition, like you were mentioning before, Smacks, with Array too, how the team integrated him in so well, and the flexibility that was created with his play styles on his own is a testament to the coaches and the team behind both these. Ooh.
Oh, we got everybody up there. Look at that.
All right, we're all up.
That's a lot of UST up there.
Holy
moly.
Guys, it looks like the Bulldogs are the underdogs today.
Yeah, looking over on Twitter, coaches talking about this came down to preparation. We were really setting ourselves up for this series. And if they were taking the matchup with that kind of nuanced eyes, even in the semifinals, you got to imagine coming into the finals matchup that they spent some time cooking up something special.
Oh yeah, so the UST guys are staying like same place that I am for this week, and they took a long time to talk about draft. They knew how much this opportunity meant for them. I know talking with Shogo as well. Again, the fact that this is the highest level of competition that Shogo can play in, he wants to, prove that he can be an academy spot, can utilize one of those import slots, that he is worth it, and he's had a great tournament so far. But I know holding that trophy at the end of the day would mean so much to him on this journey, and a lot of the prep, a lot of the stuff that UST has, they really have to be concerned about that bot lane because Sophis Sage has been huge in this tournament as well. Throne. Gotta believe we could see a Kaisa emerge here. It was so important for both of these teams yesterday as both marksmen picked up a quadra kill on Kaisa in their respective best
I
of
was
5
just
wins.
thinking that it was in both of them, it was such a pivotal moment for the game too. It wasn't just some random quadra kill, it was game changing.
Yeah, and like Shogo, I mean, he broke the game and might have broken the mentals of Maryville with that quadra kill. Because again, USD had zero business being in that game 2 against Maryville. That was the decisive turning point of the series. It was when Shogo got the quad on the Kaisa, but it's now in the hands of Sophis Sage, and Shogo, another champion. He's only played unique champions in top 8, adding another one to that list with the Jinx.
A lot of damage that can come out of this Jinx. Of course, a little less mobile, so you're looking to the protection from your squad against something like a Kaisa that can zip towards the back line, but you know that they're prepared for that when they bring out the Tom Kench.
And for University of St. Thomas, this is a pretty standard front-to-back team fight composition. It's going to scale really hard into the side of base state. They're looking to play fight slow, utilize all the zone control that Gangplank Victor brings to open things up for this Jinx.
Don't allow UST the chance to get their footing under them. They have proven they can come back in the past, and I'm sure would be willing to do so with a scaling comp. Bay State looking to make those plays, looking to set a statement here at the start of this series. It is the College Championship Finals here for 2022. A new championship team will be crowned by the end of the day. I'm excited to get into it. Utilizing that barrel placement to create that distance, try and keep Bajani pushed back. When you have the gangplank in the game, because we haven't seen it in top 8 because he's been banned so much, you also do have to be extra conscious of when you hit that level 6, what he can do for the other lanes and assist the rest of the team in making plays without having to alleviate the own pressure that he is exerting in the 1v1.
I like the fact you bring up the gangplank, and of course Porsche. A big win for UST yesterday with Porsche. I mean, Porsche took out Niles, the youngest player that we had on the Rift yesterday. In that
GP aficionado in himself.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed his best champion, so now he has it as trading bot.
Oh, flash away. Yes, getting that burn. Doesn't want to die just yet. Dragon Min over here by Krugs, and Kitsuo is circling around. Should be entering try in just a moment's time. But zoning from Shogo, he's got a little bit of the wave here from under the wave, so he can get, or under the tower rather, to get some of that poke. A flash now grabbed from Sophus Sage. That's a good play from the jungler to get that impact.
An awkward early game setting. We'll see if Kitsuo decides to take the Sonic Wave. Will not be the case. Honestly, good news for Dragon Min. He can sprint up towards this bot crab and maybe play for the double crab, as Kitsuo relegated to wrapping up the Krug camp that Dragon Min took away from him. There is a lot of river control in the bot side here for Bay State. So again, Chookies doesn't have flash up. I really want to see if Bay State can utilize this to either take an early Dragon or attack bot. As we thought Dragon was going to be a big priority with all the focus both these teams like to put on the bottom lane. And it looks like Bay State in this early game utilized the push of the Zoe and some of the control they found bot early to take that first Dragon.
And UST, no reason to try to contest this, at least from their mind and their perspective. Kitsuo just getting some of that vision, seeing if maybe a cheeky play was to be had, but not quite, because Robbie...
I think a lot of it's going to come down to the Rift Herald. The fact they took the first Dragon, that's a nice first step, but they need to start snowballing this game in their favor, or else they will get outscaled very hard in the later stages of this game.
That's the additional pressure that you have in the early game when you do have an early-oriented comp.
Oh, look at this. Serenok, some good words over to Shogo. Love to see that.
I do enjoy the level at which you see the love between players from different teams within the college scene. Shogo with his own response. I did see this on Twitter earlier, talking about just that adrenaline that you receive from the performance the day prior, and still wishing all the best for your opponents.
Love to see that. Also, fun fact, yeah, while we're talking about that, some of the player history too. Serenok Kitsuo used to play on a team together, Crossfire. Did very well in the scouting ground circuit. Back when it was that, set Broom Grounds, but action mid. Flash traded.
Serenok falling on down, because we are in ultimate territory, so the Chaos Storm did come out. Kitsuo's here, scouted out by this control ward. Q over the wall, but doesn't connect. The supports officially unlocked, leaving the bot laners alone.
And while it doesn't result in a winning play, hold on. Kitsuo.
A fight here over Scuttle. Kitsuo, the burn is pretty good, and Chookies is here. Doesn't have the flash just yet. Starting to get targeted. Bay putting him right here in the pit, taking him down. 1 to 2 kills on the scoreboard in total, slicing slightly into that gold lead.
No business contesting that bot side with Bay State having push in both lanes, but meanwhile, top lane, Bujani went down. He got solo killed by Porsche in that matchup, so really well played as now. Storm Blue
under the turret. Does take a lot of aggro, but still has some sustain in his own pocket. So a chance to go back, get a little bit of a buy going. But yes, we're gonna get to see, let's see what we are. Yeah, this was the top lane play.
And again, Porsche's Gangplank. This really was the first champion that he made a name for himself on when he was climbing the ranks of amateur, playing with Radiance, currently on a team, Jake's Kittens, with Prismal, Ryoma, two pretty good academy players that we have. As a second look, a beautiful double barrel from Porsche sets this up as, trade of flashes. That's a big parlay. Some extra gold into the pocket of Porsche. He played that very well.
Indeed, full utilization of the kit to get that one. And then here there is just all of this action with the remaining team around this riverside. So much vision that had been previously established by Bay State to set them up for that fight. You do still have so much standing gold on the map. You saw a plate just getting targeted over in the mid lane. Right here, bot. There was already the CS lead from Shogo prior, but now that additional time allowed him to push up this wave, get some more of these plates.
Boy.
3 via Zac coming down. The rest of UST here. Exhaust onto Kitsuo, but the root and more onto Sofa. Sage has to flash away after using the ultimate to get back. And now Sword Blue, his life is in front of them, the only one standing. But the thing is, there's more joining this party. Dragonman had come on down, but they still are down 2 players. Serenok from the flanking location. Can he get this finish off on Chucky? The cannon barrage here for the assistance. Board from the top lane, putting in that work, but Vijani has already come down, have teleported to do so. Ultimate activated, World Ender retreating under the turret. The Chaos Storm a bit too distant to follow up with the damage, but the rest of UST, they're happy with some of the kills that they were able to achieve.
And that's a huge play from UST. Again, Bay State taking that red field. That's the right move for them. They need that objective to snowball the game. But what is the answer? We funnel Shogo, hover bot, catch out Sophis Sage, and then on the back half, when Bay State tries to respond, tries to get something back, UST just outplays them in the team fight.
And even emphasizing some of those differences in that top lane, Vijani having to teleport down to try and make an impact, where Porsche just got to throw out the ultimate.
Gonna take a second look at how this one broke down. Again, while Rift Herald's going down, Shogo is being funneled. At this point, Shogo's up 25 CS in this lane. He even took his own Krugs on the bot side. He gets 2 plates for himself. And I love the rotation here from UST just to make sure that Sophie Sage cannot get this wave for free. He goes down, but then it's on the back half as UST plays that fight beautifully. We might not be done with the fights.
So second dragon now acquired by Bay State, but UST want to collapse to see if they can pick up some scraps in the fight. Flash away from Sword Blue to avoid the Super Mega Death Rocket. But UST, they don't find any follow-up here, enough to get a chunk, but it's not late enough into the game yet where they can completely just ice those HP bars.
Get all the carries for UST. That is 4 mythic items to the 0 of Bay State. That's how big the lead is as the scaling comp, prioritizing gold. You can pick up those dragons later. You're going to be stronger later. I think this has been a beautiful early game from UST.
And nothing really egregious from Bay State either. It's UST showing control and measuring what they know they're supposed to do. Like right now, hey, we're supposed to take down Vijani. He's up in here, right under the tower. Use the cannon barrage to keep Sword Blue and Serenok alive. Deep down, knock up onto Robbie Bob. Porsche flashing away. They don't quite finish off Sword Blue, but they got the kill that they were looking for. So close with the Jinx ultimate. So admirable attempt from Shogo, but none to be had from now on out.
1 for 1, that's a shutdown for Bay State, but you can already see how hard Porsche is hitting on this GP. Again, took that first brick, got the solo kill for himself, a top lane match that we were really excited about. His best champion, as he is destroying this game from the top lane.
Wouldn't be a surprise if Gangplank goes right back onto the ban block off of this one, just because he offers so much to what the team wants to accomplish now. Both of the side lanes cracked open in favor of UST. Some more action here mid. It's where Bay State is looking for the advantage. They have everybody except Vijani in the vicinity, but still UST holding strong.
And a really nice cover there from Shookies. Again, when you have Jinx, Tahm Kench, the way you want to play it, Jinx gets to walk up, and you always have that get out of jail free card. So a really nice Sleepy Trouble Bubble from Serenok does connect, but Shookie's just there to save him, and UST, they get to reset. Now look to make a play.
Kitsuo flash kick, Sophie Sage, killer instinct away. Can't escape though. Sword Blue dredge line to go back under the turret, but there is a wave coming through. Zap from Shogo for some of the slow, but it looks like they want to keep this pressure up. Serenok rotating down. Super Mega Death Rocket just to punch him a little bit harder. Vijani is over in the river side, can come up if need be, but there's not a position for bot side with the 25 seconds on the clock before that dragon spawns. Rift Herald is on top side for the taking. So the decision to be made by UST, whether they would want to contest that or go take an objective for themselves. This would be sole point for Bay State, but sometimes you can afford to give that over.
Will be Robbie Bob in the top side as he just got that Empower Teleport back up. Whereas UST trying to get control, but here we go.
All right, Cannon Barrage. There's also a teleport coming in from UST. Heavy damage onto Dragonman, who goes way into the back, tries to Cyclone here. Sword Blue zipped off by the Death Ray. Bajani in pursuit, World Ender activated. They take down Porsche. It's 2 down for UST, but UST is still in pursuit. Serenok uses Real Flash to get out of this one. Kitsuo, can he find it? Doesn't connect with the Sonic Wave, so rejoins the rest of the team. Now they have the positioning priority around this Dragon and can deny the soul point.
And honestly, for Bay State, they played that fight really well. They took Porsche out immediately in the fight before Robbie Bob could join them. But that's just the strength of UST at the moment as we take a second look. This is a good engage. I think Sword Blue landing multiple, or hitting out multiple people with the depth charge is good. They take out the most fed member in Porsche. Really good focus from Bay State, but it's just too much early in the game for UST as Robbie Bob in the back half shreds everyone before he goes down, and no one is able to help Dragonman get on Shogo.
Meanwhile, Chookies and Kitsuo were happy to help Shogo stay alive. So while Bay State didn't have who they needed, UST had everything that's very in line with their strategy. Keep Shogo alive. He even flashed away for some of that distance. They were able to move up over towards this top side around the Rift Heralds.
And that's one Victor Laser that just brought Sophie Sage to half health, as Sophie Sage still does not have that mythic item completed, whereas Shogo is sitting on 2 items at this point. And Robbie Bob, who has been funneled that Soul Win experience, is so fed as Robbie Bob now.
Sends to sleep.
Just a lot of damage.
Yeah, look at the way that damage comes through. As soon as you throw down that Chaos Storm, he can't stick around. So burning down. Sword Blue a little bit dulled at his own blade. Kitsuo still going for it. Kicks away Serenok, who tries to get through here. Wants to return some kind of damage, but can't quite do so. 2 down for Bay State. Now UST have additional movement over the map. All the while, Porsche on that bot side takes down the inhibitor turret. And now he can come here to answer Bay State's play around mid.
Will be at least an objective bounty going over to Bay State as they manage to take their first turret of the game. But you can see how scared they are to go any further as Dragonman taking Raptors. That might be a bit of a reach. Porsche.
Man, Dragonman running right into a barrel. Porsche should be able to get it. Dragonman goes down. UST picking off the jungler now. Before rotating over towards this Baron side, they can start to establish some of the warding. Anytime that objective is up, they are starting it, but there's a lot of Bay State in the area.
I don't know if Bay State have a choice. Look at how UST have manipulated these sides. They pushed both sides all the way to the inhibitor turrets. So Bay State, they had to fix their waves. This means that UST gets that Baron with Smite off the map for free. Might be able to go for a play, but Robbie Bob's hovering. He's not spotted. And Porsche, oh yeah, he's wiser to it. Really well done here by UST.
If you don't have to protect Shogo and your Chookies, you can still hang around Robbie Bob. And that's the nice thing about an unlocked Tom Kench, is whoever is in the most vulnerable position, he can stick with them as they stand on top of this blast zone. Bay State knows what they're in for. Sword Blue, the gravity field, zoning him off. Cannon Barrage doing the same exact thing. Robbie Bob goes on board, and now Bajani so low, tries to swing back in with some of his own heal. Still around it, but eventually falls. Sophie Sage now collapse upon a nice rocky air triple kill from Robbie Bob. Make that a double from Shogo. Make that an ace for the team. UST cannot be stopped in this game, Cubby.
Bay State, they had to get desperate there, but when desperation doesn't work, that's when UST gets to put in some perspiration to wipe them off the rift, as that's going to be an inhibitor going down, and looks like game 1 in favor of UST.
Making that sweaty slide a little too slippery for Bay State if they lose control of this series, because UST have chained themselves around it, coming up with a victory in game number 1.
And that's a much better start for UST than yesterday. You think of that series against Maryville? It felt like they lost the first, 1.8 games, even though they tallied that win game 2. This was clean from UST. It felt like they were in control immediately in this game. Bay State were never able to get off the ground, never able to get running. And when that happens against Jinx, Victor, Gangplank, your chances of winning are slim.
Welcome back to the College Championship. We are here going into game number 2. I was gonna have to scream so loud if I did the stupid thing and kept my mic above my head. But the way these teams are playing does make me want to scream at the top of my lungs because it was an exciting first game if you're a UST fan, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it really felt like for UST, nothing went over their head in that first game. They had everything under control. As I really feel like, again, that game, UST, the identity we've seen from them, it's really been about surviving early game, getting to the later stages where they team fight really well for a collegiate squad. That is what brought them over Maryville, what got them in the finals, and what gave them that first tally in their column for game 1.
And the way that they were making sure to play the game early to set up for that. Unlocking their support from the lane, letting Shogo just do his thing, get that farm lead, get those turret plates. In fact, all across the board, their laners were at the very least holding their own or pushing aggressively for those advantages.
Do have a support that can help you push or deal with the push of the lane. Vayne later is really good at dueling Ezreal. So if Shogo's able to find Sophis isolated in the side lanes, that could be big. That tells me that St. Thomas might have a similar game plan to last game where if Bay State decides to play for that early Rift Herald, they leave Shogo with the Vayne in the side lane and try and have him get an advantage there on his own in that window. But as we move on, looks like St. Thomas taking away a couple top laners, maybe setting up for, or I guess respecting some of the blinds that Bajani can throw at them, but also maybe setting up to blind the top laner here. They could take Ornn.
We haven't seen the Ornn yet today, and very much something that is in line with the style that St. Thomas has been bringing through, even with the bot laner being different. Oh, so if we don't get Yuumi at all, Yuumi is still here in presence somehow, thanks to Shogo.
I love the personality of these players. You know, let's take advantage of being on stage, having a camera in front of them. Really feels like Shogo's relishing the opportunity. Or hey, maybe he's just to send the message to his support, like, please give me Yuumi. I can carry with Vayne Yuumi. Serenok on the Ahri. When you get that ult, when you get that Everfrost, you can go roam, make plays with it. Go affect the side lanes. Because when I look at the two side lanes, again, for UST, that Ornn, it scales hard. That Vayne Lulu, it scales hard. Victor, Robbie Bob, we've seen what he can do on this champion in this top 8. Bay State's on a timer again, and they have to hit it much harder than they did in game 1 if they want to have a chance in game 2.
UST, despite differences in the draft, a lot of the same look. Bay State really want to try and even up this series right now and not let that momentum get absolutely out of control. As our coaches lead.
I like the self fist bump between the two.
I was just thinking, I'm like, wait,
that's pretty cute.
They just stand on different sides to fist bump each other. I like it. I like it.
You know, self 5, paying some respect to Bay State. Still getting the handshakes in there. Yeah.
I dig it for sure. I dig it for sure. And I dig just what we've seen in the series so far. Both teams with their passion on their sleeves at the ready to try and claim that championship. You can see the trophy nice and glimmering there on the stage, awaiting someone to grab it in their hands.
That did have some shine on it. That's fun being in the studio. We got all the lights, camera, and hopefully some action here on the Rift as both teams loading in. Excited to see if Bay State, again, can take advantage of this early game.
Let's see, Bay State on blue side this time, going up against UST, who have the series advantage thus far. No collective team movement yet. That's something that we have seen prior with trying to get those wards established on the bot side, but it's usually just to try to catch someone out. Instead, standard positioning across the riverside. Awaiting the time before he feels he can truly make an impact on these lanes and instead get a bit more powerful himself for UST. A little bit of shooting here onto the blue to try and give the illusion to Bay State that they were leashing for their jungler Kitsuo.
Shogo being down mana. This might throw off Bay State, and I like this from UST. We did see them do this yesterday against Maryville in one of the later games, so we'll see if Bay State, gets thrown off by the fake info that UST's throwing at him. I like that. I wish that we saw more bluffs even at the higher level. When you're not scouted level 1, that can really impact the decision-making of Dragon Min moving forward, and I want to see how Dragon Min adapts. And we have the wraparound from Kitsuo. We'll see if Bay State expects this. They have to be looking for the Lee Sin, as now Sorblue will find him.
Throws down the ward just in time, circles around, hits him with the Winter's Bite. Does Kitsuo try and collapse upon this? Finds a lock onto Sword Blue, safeguard here onto Chookies. Sofa Sage with some poke out, but Sword Blue is still pretty low. Can't really get in front of him for the protection. A good blast of damage, though. Sofa Sage drawing first blood. Kitsuo says, I don't want you to get that for free. Tries to go in. Flash traded for Flash. And it's just one kill. Bay State drawing it. A little bit of that lead for Dragon Min because of those previous plays. But Johnny in some trouble. Kitsuo here for the follow-up, an early flash from the Johnny. He doesn't even want to have it. Porsche goes in with a flash of his own, but they can't connect.
I think that if they want that kill, if Kitsuo preemptively flashes, they end up getting it for free. The flash and the hop were burned by Bijani, but Kitsuo trying to preserve that summoner spell. That kill now escapes, and Bijani can TP back to that lane, catch all the golden XP, and now Dragon Min can answer bot.
Collapsing directly under, Polymorph onto Dragon Min, stuns up one, Shogo goes down. Bay State continuing to extend their lead here in the bot lane with a second kill onto the enemy support.
A hot start for Bay State as they run with the lead they were already granted bot from the good play of Sword Blue and Sofa Sage. It continues now with the help of Dragon Min, exactly what we were asking for from Bay State. Try to make aggressive plays, try and interact more with your laners if you are Dragon Min to get a lead. Bay State have done just that as they are up almost 2K gold early.
And UST's response is to send Porsche down to the bot lane.
Oh, wow.
Chookies and Shogo, upon spawning, going up towards top. They're hoping the matchup against the range that Nar has to offer can give them a little bit more stability, but Serenok already on the move. Does have Spirit Rush here, and that's when you have to worry about Ahri and just how quickly she can move between lanes and have an impact. Sword Blue also feeling unlocked because Sofa Sage can hold that bot lane on his own against Porsche.
This is all spotted by the side of UST, and I really think this does benefit Bay State as Ezreal. If you're strong enough to be in that Ornn lane, getting accelerated on the Ezreal, again, a marksman that has a lot of spell damage, so extra levels early, putting more points in those spells, really valuable for the Ez. And we see Sofa Sage just being solo bot, really starting to get ahead of the Bane in experience, not to mention gold.
Both of the mid laners ahead in experience because of their lonesome there. Silence, stun, charm, and more. Kitsuo eliminated. Robbie Bob, flash over the wall. Serenok here, still looking for the kill. And Chookies wants to answer because Serenok is fairly low. True Shot Barrage over to one side. Doesn't need to connect though. Robbie Bob goes down. Kitsuo just now back spawning once more. Chookies locked. Another hit from Sword Blue. Can they get the concussive blow? They don't even need it yet. The damage is good enough. More kills for Bay State.
And this rotation from UST, again, very surprising because now you have your marksman into a soul laner. It's down 2 levels in Bay State. This is another kill for them.
Oh no, tumbling away, throws the heal, says, oh, I've got my tier 2 hero. Oh, I've got my jungler here. Kitsuo, he connects with the Q. He gets slammed into the wall by the Nar, though. The ultimate is too good. Shogo activating the ultimate, even in disguise.
Shogo?
Can he take their demise? Does shut down some. Bijani, you ain't gonna get away. That's a double kill. Shogo starting to get some strength in him.
And Bay State, I don't know how they were not able to take down Shogo. I think the Q from Braum, it hit a minion. They weren't able to land the slow to stack the passive. And that one mistake, Shogo takes it, runs with it. This specialty Vayne pick now went from being behind, went from being a tragic game to him, for him being right back in this one.
My goodness. Every time UST come out on top in a game, it's because Shogo gets ahead, and they're probably thinking, let's collapse upon him here. This is fine.
Oh, man. Yeah, that Braum Q, it caught a minion. So Shogo isn't slowed. He can walk out, and then Kitsuo, he does trade himself out for this, but Shogo goes untouched, and because that kill goes over, he dings level 6, so that extra range, extra AD, that lower cooldown on the tumble, that's all that Shogo needed with a little bit of help from his buddy Chookies. Both of these bot laners came over from Colombia. They played there in fall. Now playing here in summer, Shogo was almost a backup for UST early when Array left to go pro or go play with 100 Thieves next. Shogo said, he reached out to UST, said, I want to come, I want to be on this team, but also I want to bring my buddy Chookies. I believe in this guy. I believe we can be a good bot lane in collegiate, and they are stepping up here. Even after the mistakes in the finals, oh no, Robbie Bob.
As great as everything was from Shogo previously, Bay State tries to make an answer around mid by taking down Robbie Bob. Sofa Sage still over on this top side. Singular pick for them. But on that Shogo point, though, you can feel the motivation, not just in person, but the way he plays on the Rift. Because when you decide, all right, it's just me, do I try and retreat safely or do I pop the final hour and try to make a kill?
Kitsuo.
He's not here for the kill right now, though. Bay State instead getting it onto Kitsuo, who finds way too much blue around him.
Yeah, I think Kitsuo assumed that Dragon Min was actually on the Dragon, but Dragon Min was on Serenok. And Kitsuo falls, and this is a big lead now for Bay State because they take that first.
He's going to get pushed in, some more plates to take down. There's still 3 minutes on the clock for these plates to remain.
And the only strong point now for UST, really out of this early game, it is Shogo. As Shogo, he's going to have to help make sure that he can bridge the gap and get his team into the later stages when this victor will come online, but that has been delayed out of really good play from Bay State. So, again, I feel like Bay State, it's so important that their mid-jungle duo keeps snowballing this game ahead. Keep our eyes out for Dragonman, and then keep our eyes out for Serenok, who's sitting at 2-1-2 in an Everfrost, can start to really pressure these sides to be able to get out of this mid lane.
Approximately a 600 gold difference between Serenok and his laner and RobbieBob because of that pressure that they were exerting here. A singular plate remaining on that tower. But Vijani is still facing off against Porsche over here towards the bot side. Teleport just now coming up for Vijani. Porsche as well, but we're not in unlocked territory yet, so Kitsuo is getting collapsed upon by the rest of Bay State. We're coming through. Kitsuo goes down, but now the rest of the team is here. A charm immediately upon throwing down the Ornhorn. Sophie Sage has to stay out of range. A Death Ray to slice through some. Gravity Field gets the stun onto Dragon Min, but it's just his clone at that, so they can't follow up.
And the Unbreakable from Sword Blue to deny the call of Forge God. It was big, as that prevents UST from trading out anything in that skirmish. And while all this was going on the top side, look at Vijani bot. He is untouched on the Meganar, just farming up plates, and now Bay State looking to snowball this into more. RobbieBob, you have the wave clear on the Victor, but Bay State, they're on the attack. Both Braum and Wukong looking to flank.
Bay State's mid turrets themselves being pretty healthy. They can dive this one under here. Chaos Storm thrown out to make that trade kill onto Dragon Min. And Kitsuo can get some of this clear, but with Sword Blue here, it means that Serenok can just fire at the tower. Dodging away, back to the 1v1 down bot. I mean, Vijani has been pushing up for a while, and it's not just action across in these individual skirmishes. Sophie Sage goes down. Shogo, 3 kills for him, starting to get strong. Has that Gale Force, had used the active previously in this. It's going to be a tough situation when Vayne is here with Lulu to add that extra level of protection, having used the Wild Row for that extra durability.
And also stacking up these dragons. One of the ways that you can answer all the scaling on the enemy team is to try and pressure for a soul. So we will see UST is able to pick up any gold in the back half. Does not look like it, as it will just be a free dragon going over to the side of Bay State. A turret as well is now RobbieBob.
Horn blasts through.
Oh, wait.
Serenok all dead. Sword Blue looking to fall again. Glacial Fissure thrown down. He's on the retreat, but he cannot escape.
Sophis was able to pick up RobbieBob with that ultimate, but that's big for UST as Serenok pushes too hard, was not able to get the reset to get out with the Spirit Rush. It ends up being a one-way trip thanks to the rotation from Porsche.
Good at identifying them and creating leads within the game off of those small windows and openings.
I think the good news for UST is the fact that RobbieBob has flashed back up. That makes it a lot easier to deal with Ahri in the side lane. Still means that you will be under siege, and we'll see if this DP gets in. As that tower was low, Porsche is here.
Makes it just in time. Tries to go towards Serenok. Dragon Min, the next target. Kitsuo kicks him away, follows up. Horn comes through. Sword Blue throws up the shield. The Unbreakable here to try and stop it, but Porsche is unstoppable. They take down the support. Feeling pretty good about that fight for them as they've eliminated both the jungler and the support from Bay State. Now 4 kills for this Vayne. Shogo getting nice and strong. Retreats in the end. Serenok facing off against his laner, but over on this top side because this wave is pushing through.
Oh boy, Shogo. He's pretty buff with that Lulu, as Dragonman, that smite is required to buy some space. As Vijani, he's gonna get attacked now. He's mini, but a TP comes in from Serenok.
Oh, Porsche starting to get a
Watch
bit of
Shogo.
hope. Teleport here right and try. Robbie Bob directly on top of the rest, throws a Chaos Storm. This zones off Dragon Min and the Gravity Field, even with the Unbreakable
split.
Sword Blue, is in such dangerous
Here goes
territory.
Shogo.
Bajani's on the outside. Shogo's here, trying to put the show on for everybody. And they still go through. Bajani has just been completely separated this entire time. So Serenok and Dragon Min falling, a lot of that damage no longer available. And Sword Blue low, where Sophus Sage can't step up very effectively.
And just like that, all the good work that Bay State put into the early game. Big parts about why they've won the last couple fights and skirmishes, but maybe if they're able to set up a front to back, maybe if you can get Ari on an angle, you can try and pressure the Lulu that doesn't have flash anymore. I feel like that should be the big target here for Bay State, as we have both teams posturing over this bot river. Hextech up in 20 seconds. Soul Point would be big for Bay State, but at the moment, UST have control.
Even though that gold is even, it's definitely UST that love pressure. A Glacial Fissure answered by going into stasis from Kitsuo. Chaos Storm still off of a lot of the Bay State members. Some knock up from the Orn Horn.
I think that's enough just to take the dragon. Again, Bay State, they're so low off the chunks from Robbie Bob's Victor. They're forced to contest, but this is a big disadvantage as Meganar's about to run out too.
That's one of the things about when you play Gnar is that's a timer that UST is clearly comfortable trying to play around when an objective is up. Dragon coming down, Kitsuo is sitting directly onto it, but in the end, Dragon Min takes it. So do they win the fight as well? They just want to retreat. Shogo with that final hour activated, now gets Bajani, turning back on the Sword Blue, but it is Robbie Bob with the double kill credit, but a team effort had by all as the triple is finalized. UST leaving only one alive. They turn their eyes over towards the Baron side.
Now, all this was going on. There was an MVP, Shelly. Solo on the top side did take the top inner and inhibitor turret as UST, they will actually have to base. They want to save their inhibitor that might fall to the minions, but everything else on the map fell in UST's favor. They now take the Baron. This gold lead is huge, and Shogo is way too big to deal with in this one.
And that was one of those weird Rift Heralds too that just had to throw down to get her down somewhere and keep on chugging along. But
see what happens.
All that action over on the bot side, Shelly actually got to do her thing, and now this inhibitor down. Bay State do have somewhere they can try and play through.
And again, this fight, I mean, the engage tools for Bay State, the only way they can really start a fight is with Wukong's ultimate. You have Mini Nara. You have nothing to fight with. And Dragon Min, yes, you do steal the dragon. Yes, that is big. That is soul point for Bay State. But St. Thomas, they're the ones with all the tools. And if ultimates are down, well, guess what? Shogo is just going to rip through your team with how far ahead he is at this point. As look at how Shogo plays this, using the combos to sidestep everything. A beautiful team fight from him. For the side of Bay State, if they want to try and get around UST.
Only 10 seconds on the clock, and UST's answer is to push forward into Bay State's jungle, see who they can catch out, get some of their own deep wards so they know when they're wanting to rotate through. Instead, they go right into it. A charm onto Kitsuo, and the Ornhorn wants to come as well. Knock up from the Cyclone here. Oh my goodness, there's some falling though. You've already lost two from Bay State. Sword Blue marked low, another charm onto Shogo. Was trying to get this kill onto Serenok, but you just push him away. So now Bajani, who already took so much damage, doesn't have a team available to try and help them contest this. So the rest of Bay State rotate over towards that dragon.
UST will be forced to respond to the top wave that is shoving, as Bajani trying to escape with his life will have to burn flash. That should be enough, but good work from the side of St. Thomas to get that dragon for themselves. Again, prevent the soul. It really is the one comeback win condition here of Bay State. With, you know, UST having just insurmountable odds to overcome. Bay State needing a miracle in this one, kind of like UST did yesterday, but hey, pick on Kitsuo could be a start, but oh my!
They try to get the pick, but the fight gets turned on back. Dragonman is the one to lose out on that, and Bay State, they saw an opportunity with Kitsuo, but UST's response was dire.
And that's Baron. And again, Kitsuo, yes, it's a pick, but that's a Guardian Angel on the Lee Sin, so even if you take him down, it's so hard to take him down again. GA is popped, but that's well worth it for St. Thomas as they'll turn that into a Baron.
Burning it down, finishing it up. The rest of the team pushing over towards mid. Second Baron buff here for UST. So they target this inhibitor tower right now because they're outnumbering. It's just Sophus Sage and Serenok. Sword Blue is on his way, but without that tank right in front of them, there's not very much room that they can create. UST with the onslaught. Teleport comes on in, but Johnny goes for the slam into the wall. Robbie Bob eliminated from it. Does Shogo go on through? Manages to get out of the most danger that he was in with Serenok. Can he get in range to try and get some of this kill? He's got the final hour activated. Dragonman, meanwhile, trying to zone off Kitsuo over on the top side. Sword Blue, so close to going down.
Wait, he just Z'd in. I'm actually really surprised Shogo did not turn it, but Shogo at least gets the inhibitor, gets the objective as Porsche is back. The ult pops.
Can he get the knockup onto 2? Try and get it onto Dragonman here. Sword Blue pushed all the way through. Has the Unbreakable up, and Porsche just soaks up so much of the damage, though. Slowly walking black. Gets the wild growth on him, so he can survive. Shogo still poking, and you have those Baron-empowered canyons that can actually end up shooting pretty far as well. Just poke them down. Flashing away. Bay State still in pursuit.
No more Lulu.
Chookies goes down. A stun onto the carry himself, and he still wants to try and take somebody down with him, but is not quite successful. Porsche falls. Robbie Bob, you're between their own base and 3 members of Bay State. 2 inhibitors down. You have the supers pushing in. Charmed away. Bay State come out on top. They get the ace.
And UST, they just overextend. Once Serenok gets that ultimate up again, they take the Lulu out. It's too much for UST to deal with. Yes, they get 2 inhibitors, but Bay State, we said they needed a miracle. And keep in mind, that Maryville UST series, Maryville, they were the ones that were sieging onto the base of UST. They were the ones that had 2 inhibitors, and they threw a fight in the Nexus. As it feels like UST, with the scale and comp, they go too far. Yes, Shogo is pumping out crazy damage throughout the series of events, but they lose all their tools. They're able to protect the Bane being down numbers as this fight continues, and they're the ones that end up going down. They get ace.
It brings you back to some of the tools that Bay State brought through to try and go against UST here. So yes, you have an Ornn that's going through with the Horn, but Sword Blue getting that chance to heal up and still protect the rest of the squad with Unbreakable and more. As soon as they get rid of some of that utility from the Lulu as well, those tools have been so crucial to keeping the team alive, and Bay State were able to follow up.
And Shogo's been so good at dancing around these fights as the Bane, but it is the 1 Q from Braum. The ability to then proc that passive after he already burned the Scimitar, that's just too much. Shogo falls, UST falls, but hey, guess what? It is an ace, it is a lot of money, some shutdowns going over to Bay State. Cut into that gold lead a little bit, but it's still 2 inhibitors down, and it's still UST sieging onto Bay State's side of the map again.
Yep, still pushing through, have those supers coming, 2 seconds on the Dragon. First ones to it are UST.
Oh, Kitsuo is actually spotted here. I would love to see if Bay State forces a fight as Porsche is split. Yes, that Dragon, I mean, you want the Hex Tech Soul, but there's no way you can get there. That would have been an opportunity where maybe if they were able to force hard, they could have gotten a 5v4, but instead will not be able to take it. And UST, again, prevent that soul from going over to the side of Bay State.
So Bay State, for quite some time, we're just watching UST really grab things through off of Shogo. But now, because they were able to lose or win that last fight, rather, maybe have some fire coming up through them. The only difficult part is they're on such a defensive positioning for a lot of this lately. So yes, you're winning the fight. Yeah, you're getting some of those kills through, but you're not able to make it to Dragon. You're not quite able to hold off against these waves. How do you break out of your current situation?
It's signs of life, but they still feel like they're 4 feet under in this game. As Shogo trying to put the extra 2 feet down. Bay State trying to go game 2. Kitsuo.
All the way back.
GA.
Gets the GA pops. UST are starting to collapse to see if they can help answer him, but the stun up and the lockdown is too good onto Kitsuo in the meantime. But you do get a stun onto Robbie Bob, which means he's the next one to fall. Serenok coming through in the clutch, but Robbie Bob did manage to kill 2 before he had fallen himself. Bajani and Sword Blue taken out of his Shogo. Final hour, all activated. Sophus Sage can't even step fully into the fountain before he falls himself, and Chookies is still here too. You got the teleport coming in from Porsche, so you're a big old booty boy here to keep that level of protection. Can have his body between you and the rest of the team. Eat up that charm. Eat up all of the utility brought through by the remaining members of Bay State. Take down a turret. You got the supers here as well. And Shogo is still nice and healthy. Plenty of shielding available. Plenty of autos. And autos are all you need to get the deed done. UST believing in their late power again. Game 2.
And Shogo in top 8. He has yet to play a champion twice. As that Bane Lulu, I think worthy handshakes going over with his buddy Chookies as the two of them stuck together throughout that game. And Shogo pumping out the damage with that front line in front of him. Bay State had no answer.
They couldn't find a way to get back into the game that would allow them to win the game. Yes, here's a fight here and there, but UST from the mid game and beyond, following upon that power, you have to give it to the rest of the team who continuously know and believe in what Shogo can do. And they draft around it and they play around it.
And man, what can Shogo not do at this point? He has been humongous in top 8. It was yesterday first. And again, taking out Maryville, Shogo, when he first came over, he was playing for Columbia. And a part of Columbia, he never beat Maryville. I mean, that was the first time that those guys, or at least Shogo, had taken Maryville down. That was such a big deal to him. And the confidence that he picked up from that, I feel like Shogo, you know, on this stage, really relishing the moment. The biggest stage that he can play on, being someone that is from Israel, keeps on stepping up, keeps on proving that he is someone that can be considered for the next level, which is really tough to do again as a collegiate player when you're not able to play in the Amber system, when you aren't able to get access to Champs Queue. This is where Shogo could prove himself, and he is making the most of that opportunity.
Shogo has been counting his bullets and loading his clips here. This is a clean game of Bane. I love that Cubby brought up that he's played only unique champions so far in the top 8.
Stat.
I want to see some Kog'Maw from here. Let's keep it going.
Hey.
Welcome back to the College Championship. We are going into game number 3 between University of St. Thomas and Bay State. And this might be the last game, Cubby.
It's sure looking like it. UST has been dominant, and the way they're doing it, it's not by crushing early games, it's not by blowing teams out of the water, it's by playing their game. It's by going towards the later stages of the game, waiting to get comfortable, once they get 20-plus minutes, and no one's been able to beat them if they're on even footing past then. So I expect St. Thomas to lock in their marksman here. Save that support counter pick for the side of Chookies, and guess what? A 9th champion here for Shogo, and it is that Callista.
Braum, okay, Braum is one of the more common, I think, ever since Callista came through, very commonly paired with her. The Nasus, though, there are a lot of good highlights out of there from getting thrown in, and you can hear the reaction from the crowd. But in the end, we're in a championship, and I don't think they wanted to take something of that risk.
I just like getting the crowd going. You know?
Yeah,
you got to do the hovers for the fans. Go Nasus, All right, love to hear it.
Love it. But I do love the Braum coming through in real talk.
Yes, no, Braum against Misfortune Nautilus, you get so much value out of that pick. You can cancel Misfortune's ultimate with the Braum ult. Of course, Unbreakable, which mitigates a lot of that damage. Nautilus, you can kind of catch the engage and provide a lot of good peel. And also with Callista, now you can get thrown into the enemy team. So all of a sudden, that ultimate, you know, that Glacial Fissure, it goes from being a peel tool to a main engage tool when Callista can launch you into the enemy team. Themselves an advantage on match point.
Match point indeed, Cubby. Match point indeed. I was hoping it was a UST champ. I was waiting to hear a little TSM action, though. Maybe.
Oh boy.
Oh, lots of meeting here, though, in the bot side. Red line right through. The job to follow. First blood already drawn. Dragon Min on the Lee Sin draws the blood.
And there was no Braum. Braum is one of the strongest champions, level 1, but Chookies not joining the team to try and avoid that rush in Bay State. They're going to start the game with a freebie.
So
now for this bot lane, Callista Braum, if a Winter's Bite lands, it is so easy to stack things up with the Callista, and I want to see Chookies position outside the wave to really try and pressure as they utilize that early level 2. Winter's Bite does go wide, but that's a lot of health now missing from Swordfield.
And the way that you can control the movement from the side of UST's bot lane, because as soon as you start to get those spears in, you get hit, you're worried about the rend and the damage, and Nautilus takes a bit of time before he becomes that true tanky form. Right now, the junglers making an early presence here in the mid lane, slicing through Kitsuo to help out Robbie Bob and answer here with Serenok.
It does look like Nautilus rotating up. We'll proc that, but now Shookies does spot out Naut.
Into the face of Chookies. That's the stun for the
Here.
concussive blows, bringing down the Make It Rain, the charm to follow onto Chookies, who has to flash over the wall, getting a few spears. And Dragon Min means that he has to hop away. Exhaust onto Shogo, flashes away. Dragon Min fairly deep, gets slain by Shogo. The Ren is pretty good. Shogo still trying to fire through, but Sofa Sage going way into the back lane. Serenok, he is on the retreat right now, but is 2 traded for 1 thus far. The Make It Rain gets some additional damage onto Chookies, but he can escape. Kitsuo also marked down fairly low. Gonna get another one. It's an equal trade. Kitsuo finally following when in that Nautilus form.
And I know that we've really sung the praises of Shogo in this series, but I think Chookies played that fantastic, as he was so low on the Braum, but the fact that he was able to stay safe over the walls, get a couple autos and Winter's Bites off to make sure that the passive could proc, big for each of these teams throughout the tournament. With that bot lane priority from Shogo and Chookies, it looks like they're going to utilize that, take the first dragon for themselves.
Exactly. A base state directly on it now. Dragon Min in the vicinity. Make It Rain onto Kitsuo's head. Red line to follow. Tries to escape. Has some shielding on him because of the Guardian. And Chookies right now lands the Q onto Sword Blue. But right there in the back of the pit, Shogo goes down. Chookies retreating. Did not have flash available, nothing else either. Bay State comes out with 3 kills in that engage.
And a huge, much-needed play for the side of Bay State, as they are still the ones that have that stronger early game composition. The Ahri is level 6, Ahri is online, and the fact that they were able to collapse on UST, who were low from the Dragon, isolate them one by one and take them down. Bay State, they take that gold lead right from UST, and they stack up that 1K gold lead for themselves.
Gold lead for Bay State, still first dragon for UST that they were able to grab and come out with the objective.
And Robbie Bob just doesn't move. He's not really able to move against the Ahri, who does have that experience advantage. And Kitsuo, Shogo's Chookies kind of abandoned Kitsuo, and all of a sudden he goes down. The bot lane of UST is split, and another mistake from the UST bot lane. Keep in mind, they did get behind at the very start of last game. Bay State able to utilize the comp they have strong early to punish and give themselves a leg to stand on.
Lots of pings now over towards this top side with Rift Herald currently spawning. Bay State keeping their eyes on it. Everyone is here except for Bijani, who is walking upwards. Kitsuo rooted in response to targeting Serenok here. The Ease from Misfortune continuously zoning off Fate's Call. Shogo bringing Chookies back. Right under the tower. All the while, though, Porsche coming down towards the river once more, sinking around with the Cyclone. Got the exhaust on him as well. Sofa Sage right immediately on top of the damage falling. The bot lane completely eliminated at the hands of Robbie Bob. Now it's UST that can go towards that Rift Herald.
And what a split from the solo laners of UST as Porsche casting that ult.
And they have that Rift Herald in Kitsuo's pocket when he decides to drop it down. Everybody else right now in the bot lane, because Serenok has rotated through to see if they can collapse and take advantage of this wave pushing on down. Dredgeline onto 1. The ultimate from Sofa Sage gets a decent amount of damage onto Chookies, but that's a lot of aggro. That's a lot of return right now. Sword Blue taken out of it, and Porsche rotating down as well. Stun up onto Serenok. Cannot escape. No flash for him to use. Sofa Sage getting slowed down. Uses the E to create some distance. Can't save his life, though. Dragon Min here on the climb. But look, now all of UST is here. This was a play that Bay State was looking for, that UST came out on top from.
And this is disaster for Bay State, as again, they had the numbers advantage. As you mentioned, they had the ultimates, they had the chunk, but Chookies on the back half, the power of Braum skirmishing with Shogo, they just land concussive blows, proc the passive, and playing off that gets them ahead in this fight, the skirmishes. While this is going on, Dragon Man, he's still going for the hills. All right, he's out.
Of some of that absence from the mid lane as well. Throw our Rift Herald down there. Give Robbie Bob just a little bit of attention with that objective usage. And start to create even more of a gold lead for themselves at 3.5. Second Dragon now taken by UST. And off of that, they can just rotate down here on bot. Ultimate used by Sword Blue, but he cannot save them. Both of them lost here under the tower. The power from UST starting to prove to be nice and strong here at merely 12:20 in the game.
And Callista Braum, right, just launched the Braum into the enemy team as the summoner spells were already down from that last skirmish. Misfortune didn't have any. Loved the aggressive call from UST as they take out the bot lane of Bay State again. They get that tower low. And the Tigers, this feels like the final game that UST had yesterday. Them scaling into that series against Maryville. Them scaling into this series as well. This has been their best early game yet. In complete control as it is a 5K gold lead early and they're not done.
Sophisage just wants to get back to lane, has Sword Blue here too, but can't quite do it. Dragon in, kicking away, a charm onto 2, bullet time, but the shield goes up, unbreakable, hooked from the behind. Sword Blue still wanting it, nice route onto Kitsuo. Now he's in the middle of multiple members of Bay State. Shogo, the only path of retreat he has is towards Robbie Bob. They do have some utility to be able to zone them off. There's Death Ray into the Chaos Storm, but the follow through from Dragon Min is also followed up once again by Bajani. Finishes it off onto Robbie Bob. A long line from Sword Blue doesn't quite connect, and the rest of the team taking a lot of tower shots. The last one enough to finish off Sophisage, and what do you know? Shogo's the one that gets the kill credit.
And that Callista Q over the wall, I mean, that does save Shogo, but Bay State, again, they realize this game is getting out of control. They're the ones that committed the TPs. They had to get more out of that play, but in the end, they pushed too far. And what happens on the back half? Does UST completely match the play, get the kills? No. But does Porsche get a free turret to himself? Was able to get back into this matchup, now has an advantage over the Fiora. And UST, even with the aggression, even with the winning angle from Bay State in the 5v3 in the bot side, they're the ones that still come out on top.
That gold difference between the bot laners too, it's a
That's
pretty chunky one. And it makes sense when you look at what happens to Sophisage at the start of these fights.
And again, Bay State, this is deep from UST. Serenok is here first. That is big for the side of Bay State, but in the back half, they just chased too far. And props to Shogo, props to Robbie Bob for bringing things back as, oh no.
Sophisage, again, not a chance to live. Takes down another one here. So Kitsuo on this Viego. We saw action early on, and now in this fight, having another impact, getting those resets. He and the rest of the team taking down the inner turret. And now Serenok just has to clear this as much as possible. So this is just another fight where we see that the distance is not enough created between Bay State's bot laner and the rest of the team.
UST are running the rift against Bay State. Shogo, his 9th unique champion in top 8. He is the one that's really helping push this team over the edge. He is the one that has all the gold in his pockets, and we've seen that is the winning recipe for UST. And in this game 3, in the match point, him on the Callista, already at 2 items, has the chance to do so much in this game.
Kitsuo with another Rift Herald. Dragon Min with another Chaos Storm at the heels of his feet. And Sophisage getting slowed by the Q from the Braum, which means Kitsuo feels all the agency to continue pursuit. Sword Blue stunned on the outskirts of this gravity field. And Kitsuo is always there to follow up on the lockdown that his team sets up for him. A lot of great play from UST here, for real. We talk about Shogo and the threat that he knows he is, but the way they all play around each other has been so clean. And I was just looking at that bot lane differential. Look at the bounty on Shogo. Look at the itemization. Look at the fight that's going on your screen right now. As another face fall from Shogo, he throws Chookies right back in for the knock-up. The two of them standing strong. And UST, they retreat though. They're thinking maybe we want to try and give a little bit of this damage back, but we're just trying to buy time because the rest of our team pushing over towards his bot side. That Rift Herald previously acquired by Kitsuo gets so much of an advantage on this bot turret. Now on the inhibitor, another slam through. Bajani has Serenok here now, but all they can do is clear the wave itself. Robbie Bob also on that top side, pushing a wave all the same.
A 17-30 inhibitor for the side of UST. Their second year as a program. Their first year fielding a team. in LOLCC, their first tournament, Gateway Legends, hosted by Maryville this past summer. Their first tournament win, again, UFest, the second man that they played in, as UST, looking to cap off what has been one of the greatest debut years for any program that we've had in collegiate as this space continues to grow, continues to evolve. Queen, as you can already see, Bay State having to deal with that super wave. Very few options for them as they can't even get into their own side of the jungle.
Their most aggressive wards are somewhat close to that riverside, but not enough to give them any true intel or agency to move forward. Force getting exhausted upon the entry, but Sophus Sage can't even lay down the damage because there's just too many targets directly on his sight.
10 seconds until Baron. UST, though, they're not looking at it. They actually just want to end the game. They're TP and bot.
10 seconds on Baron, 10K gold in their pocket. They feel like they can take this fight. They feel like they can take this tower. That's exactly what they're doing with the super pushing up. Sword Blue has to try and heal within the fountain itself. It's a final stand here from Bay State for a moment, but okay, UST, as soon as everybody comes back on through, they decide to back off. We have other inhibitors that we can take. There's a turret right here. Teleport coming through from Bay State to try to go for the collapse. UST have a feeling things are a little too quiet, so Bajani, they finally see Serenon. Spear rushing on forward. Chookies coming on through with a charm. Bullet time right over the wall. Doesn't quite kill anybody just yet, but Chuki is soon to fall. Kitsu gets the reset. He gets a few of these kills. That's four taken down from Bay State. Bajani, despite getting the TP behind them, Bay State cannot make the play happen. University of St. Thomas, a new name to the scene, a new championship to be crowned here in 2022. It's UST, baby!
Celebration on the stage for UST.
The joy we have seen from their faces coming into this weekend, coming from webcams for weeks before, trekking here to Los Angeles with so much to prove, and University of St. Thomas, your 2022 college champions.
And what a story, again, from these guys. And so much to prove, so much history as well. And a variety of figures, right? Porsche really trying to go pro, just got hooked up with his first team where, you know, he has ins with LCS teams. Shogo, of course, this is the highest level competition that he can play in. And I think Shogo showed the highest level of play I've ever seen from him as UST. They get their moment.
Lift it nice and high, my friends. Lift it nice and high. It's been such a pleasure getting to see them play on the Rift, and you see even some of the supporting staff up there that have put in so much work. Getting to talk to them in the parking lot after some of these days, seeing them in the morning, hyping each other up on the outskirts of the studio. You can imagine how hard their hearts are pumping.
Great to see, especially final member raising the trophy there, Palto, the person that can really built this program from.
Thank you very much. I'm here with 2 of the 5 of the victorious UST. Of course, it takes more than that. It's the infrastructure, it's the school. First things first, the obvious one. A pretty quick series. How are we feeling, Shogo, after it?
We were feeling pretty confident going into the games, playing the games after each and every one of them. We were confident that we were gonna sweep them pretty much.
You feel the same, Kitsu?
Yeah, I think like Bay State's been our scrim partners ever since we got here because they're on the other side of the bracket and they were who we expected to play last. And from scrim results, we were like, oh yeah, this will be easy.
Did it feel that way in the games? Because I feel like game 2 maybe got a little shaky, or was it just supreme confidence the whole way?
I mean, I think Bay State is a great team, and I love all the guys. And they definitely showed why they made it through to finals. But at the end of the day, we were just better. Yeah.
In the second game, I think after our dominant performance in the first game, we took it a little bit too lightly in the second game, had a little bit of fun, a little bit of trolling here and there, but, you know, it makes for a better show, so.
Shogo, Something that keeps getting brought up is that you apparently are allergic to playing the same champion twice.
I mean, at some point we just decided like, okay, I haven't played. It's been 6 matches. I haven't played the same champion twice yet, so might as well. I had my champion pool is infinite, so just might as well.
Is this like a flex thing or a meta thing or?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just comfortable on every champ, so except Ezreal, but don't tell anyone.
Thankfully, I didn't find that out. Kitsu, what about you? How have you found kind of approaching this tournament and kind of really being with this team, working with a school that is in only their 2nd year and getting this far?
So even though it's the program's 2nd year, this is the first time they've ever fielded like a competitive roster for League of Legends, and ever since coming on last semester and going through a couple of different roster changes in the bot lane, when we were competing last semester, we won like pretty much every collegiate event. So I felt pretty confident, and it felt pretty bad to lose our bot lane because it's a bot lane that most people consider to be our best players, and we didn't know that how we'd stack up against other teams if we got a new bot lane. And then when we got Shogo and Chuki's, and they came in to the school, they slotted in like really well. They fit the team environment. They fit the how the team wanted to play. They really easily found themselves a way to integrate themselves into the ecosystem that we set up. So after like a couple of games with them, we knew like, okay, we'll take the championship this year.
How do you feel, obviously being kind of the newer players joining a team?
Obviously, it takes time to adapt to a new place. So even though he said this was a smooth sail, like me and Chuki's joining in, it wasn't. But these guys made it a lot easier than it should have been, because obviously joining a new team in the middle of the semester is or in the middle of the season is kind of rough. But these 3, alongside our director, coach, and manager, made it so easy. And I'm just happy we got to join them on the championship run.
So looking forward now, obviously. This is done. School year, I think, done. I'm very bad at understanding US college. What's next for UST?
So this is pretty much it for us for this this season. Unless they do the international event where they send teams from the US. This is probably going to be it for us until next semester. But CLO won't start until next year, so you might see us from here and there, maybe in like a couple of the pickup tourneys and stuff, but I think this is it.
What about your confidence going into next season? Are we defending this trophy right here?
Of course. Who else is going to take it?
And then last thing, of course, anything you want to say to friends, family, fans that are out there?
Much love to my friends, family, my girlfriend. Everyone's watching, even though they're 10 time zones away. It's the middle of the night. So lots of love to everyone supporting and watching.
Yeah, I wanted to show my support to my my sister, who's in the audience here today.
Hey.
And of course, all the UST people here that my friends at home who couldn't come because they caught COVID. And yeah.
And shout out to my girlfriend. I love you.
All right, well, wholesome as always. Thank you so much for your time today. Congratulations once again.